G'day Spurs fans, it's Paul Hotspur Hippie here, the only psychedelic soccer show on the internet. Today I just want to have a little chat about the magic of football. As Brian Clough once said, "Young man, I believe in fairies at the bottom of the garden." And that's what football is about to me. It's all about emotion and how it makes you feel. If you think of great teams of the past, they were more than some of their parts, and they generally had players that, on their own, you wouldn't say were best in the world, although they did have some of the world's best players in their teams. And their managers were not ones to talk about percentage possession and XG and all that sort of stuff. That's not to say that many teams that what I would say are not great don't win things. Chelsea might even pick up a Mickey Mouse Cup next week or in a couple of weeks. But the great teams come about because of a feeling, and that feeling of something special comes from the manager. You think a great manager of the past, like, our own Keith Birkinshaw and Bill Nicholson. Do you think they were there on a whiteboard, spelling it all out, saying, "Oh, you're 0.1k below running average there, Glenn Hoddle. Can you up your run rate a little bit?" No, they weren't doing stuff like that. Managers like Bill Nick, Bill Shankly, Brian Clough, Matt Busby, and the one that I want to sort of draw a little bit of attention to is perhaps Jock Stein. Jock Stein, who managed Celtic in the 60s, got them Britain's first European Cup. Well, it should have been Tottenham in 1963, but we were dudded by a referee against Benfica, bent as a bottle of crisps. And that was a special side, all born locally to the ground in Glasgow. They were greater than the sum of their parts. There was something special about that team. Now, the reason I'm talking about Jock Stein and Glasgow Celtic is, while Ange Postecoglou was manager there were many an older fan that said that they had that Jock Stein feeling again. Yeah, many a Celtic fan, I don't know how many it was, but I definitely heard quite a few say that Ange was the best manager there since Jock Stein. Now, of course, Ange had great success there, double in his first year, treble in his second, but many managers have had great success there. Lennon, didn't he almost do the treble, or was that Rodgers? I don't know. But success is one thing, but being great is completely another. And when you're great and you have a special magical feeling, then success usually follows. Now, if you look at Celtic today, Brendan Rodgers there is managing. They might well be on course for a domestic double. Rangers are a bit closer to them this year. But that special feeling seems to have been, eroded a little bit of Celtic. Now, I'm not an avid follower, but I've been reading a bit of stuff between the lines up there. And Celtic, okay, they might be successful again this year. They might win more than Ange did in his first year, because they could win the Scottish League and the Scottish FA Cup. Ange won the Scottish League and the Scottish League Cup in his first year. But that special feeling isn't there. And Brendan Rodgers, a successful manager in the Premier League, winning an FA Cup with Leicester, almost winning a Premiership with Liverpool. And many a Spurs fan, I would guess, about a year ago, when Conte was wearing a bit thin, would have chosen Rodgers over Postecoglou. But Rodgers isn't special. Ange is very special. And it was about a year ago, about this time last year, that I started really advocating for Ange Postecoglou. Advocating is a strong word. My words don't mean anything, you know what I mean? But I was saying to other fans, mainly when I was on channels like THFC Till I Die, and the Irish Hotspurs before I had my own channel, that Ange Postecoglou would be a great manager of Tottenham, because I was watching quite a lot of Celtic and what Ange was doing up there, and it wasn't just the success. The success was a byproduct. It was the whole cohesion, the whole, I don't know what you would call it, big family feeling that he created at Celtic, and the trophies flowed from that. But when I was watching games up there, you could tell that there was something above and beyond mere football. And I think that's something that's missing a lot out of the Premier League team. Yeah, okay, you're going to have a team such as a Manchester City that will, you know, last year won pretty much everything. But are they great, as in that special feeling? And I would say no. I would say a team like Manchester City has to have the best players in the world because they've got nothing else. Their ground's half empty most of the time. They have a lot of old fans that have been with them a long time, but there's not really enough of them to have that huge atmospheric bond that people at Celtic, at Paradise had. And I think whilst this time last year, Tottenham were really starting to slide, and the atmosphere at Tottenham Hotspur Stadium was woeful. And I was really thinking, guys, this new stadium's, why did they get rid of White Hart Lane? You know, White Hart Lane, it was always banging there. And this new stadium just seems like a bit like a swimming pool on kids' gala day, you know, just a little bit of clapping here and there. But I guess the truth is, what did the crowd have to get excited about? What did they have to cheer and get behind the team about? They had a chance in our home leg against AC Milan. Steve Perriman was there. He told me that the crowd was definitely up for it, but within 5-10 minutes they could see that the team definitely wasn't. And the crowd went quiet, and we know what happened there. We played to retain a 1-0 deficit. It was scandalous. So while that was going on at Tottenham Hotspur, I was casting my beady eye over at Celtic, and my eyes were greener than their hoops with the wonders that they were having. Clearly something once in a blue moon was happening up there. And I really want to emphasise, it wasn't the fact that they were winning trophies. That was what happened as a result of the feeling that was up there. And players were playing out of their skin. You look at a player like Kyogo Furuhashi, who last year, over 30 goals, I think. It was over 30, wasn't it? Was it 39? It was a ridiculous amount of goals. This year under Brendan Rodgers, a much more fancied Premiership candidate than perhaps Ange Postecoglou was, he scored 8 goals. Last year Celtic pretty much ran away with their domestic competitions. This year Rangers have pegged them back, and it's not just a question of Rangers improving, it's also Celtic sliding. But they had such a big buffer from the Postecoglou years that they probably will end up winning the league this year. But it's much closer. So when I'm watching Spurs games this year, I'm enjoying the feeling. I'm enjoying the magic. I'm enjoying the sensation I have when I watch the boys run out and play, because I know that they're going to try and do something exciting. That might not always work, but the more they do it, the better they're going to get at it, the more confident they are. And they know what the crowd want. A Tottenham crowd wants champagne, sizzling, ridiculous football. That's what we've always wanted. That's what Tottenham have played, you know, at least since the early 50s, possibly even pre-war when Peter McWilliam was in charge as well. I haven't really, I don't know what the team was quite like then, but the kick, push and run side, the double winning side, special moments, special managers in Tottenham's history. Arthur Rowe, Bill Nicholson. Bill Nicholson probably wasn't up there at a whiteboard spelling out, oh, you haven't got enough goal creating actions. Our XG is down. No. It was a philosophy of football. It was setting the tone at the club of what's expected from Tottenham Hotspur players. And that's why we had a lot of success. Success was a byproduct of the magic. And I'm sensing that there's magic at Tottenham right now. I saw the look on the players' faces when we beat Brighton. I heard the cheer of the crowd. And I haven't heard anything like it at the new stadium. I really haven't. Every game has been absolutely fantastic. It makes me want to try and save up a bit of money and pop over for a game. Maybe in a couple of years I'll be able to do that. But it's the place to be. It's the football team to see at the moment. Because when you look around at the other teams, I think Liverpool have got a bit of specialness about them. Manchester City, no. Arsenal, I could never say yes to that, could I? But Tottenham Hotspur have the magic. And as I say, when you've got the magic, greatness and success follows. But we've got to be patient, we've got to nurture it. We've got to, well, patience is the wrong word. We've just got to enjoy it, revel in it. And, enjoy that feeling for what it is. Put all the slide rules, put all the stats to one side, and just watch games with an open heart. And that's what I like doing. Football is purely about emotion and how it makes me feel. I know it's not a trendy thing to say these days because it seems to be the way of the world. Oh, my facts don't care for your feelings. People usually say that have got feelings and their facts are bullshit anyway, aren't they? They're just opinions. So why pretend? Why as human beings must we pretend that we're all logical, factual beings when in fact we all have desires and needs and we rationalise them and call that logic and call that facts. So enjoy the moment. I'm enjoying every moment of this season at Spurs. Come what may, I don't care. It was a great game on the weekend. I know I'm one of the few people that enjoyed it. Everyone else, including Ange, didn't like how he played, but I was on the edge of my seat because the worst thing for me as a football fan is watching a game and being bored. I don't like losing when we're playing rubbish either, but bored. I felt like that during the Everton game. And I think that's something that I've heard a few people say that we were unlucky against Everton and lucky against Brighton. I think that might have been on, was it Match of the Day, somewhere like that? And I think they're just getting a little bit confused. Just because you concede a goal in the last minute or score in the last minute, that doesn't change the luck of the game or what you deserve. The game is an entire holeless, bowlless life of its own. It's like a living organism, you know? You can't just pick and choose what minute you're interested in. So I would say the Everton game, the 2-2 draw was fair enough, and the Brighton game, the 2-1 win was fair enough. That's the way I look at it. I don't think luck or misfortune has got anything to do with it. So I'm looking forward to next week's game. I've got a swagger in my step this week because we won on a weekend, which means I'm in a good mood all week. That's how it makes me feel. You know, that's the point of football to me, to lift me up, not to bash me down, because I kind of try and park it when that happens, but it does make a difference to your life. The great managers, the Jock Steins, Bill Nicholsons, Brian Cloughs, they all recognise that football is so much more than strategy and kicking a ball around and fitness. They know that there's a spirit about football, that there's something important about football, and if you can get all the club working in the same direction or feeling the same emotion, all the fans, all the board, all the players, then then nothing can stop you. And right now at Tottenham Hotspur, we've got a manager that believes that has grown up with the game meaning so much more than just points on the board, trophies. You know, they're a symptom of the feeling. They're not the feeling themselves. So, you know, when I see people criticising decisions here and decisions there, we can all be park bench managers, can't we? We've all got an opinion. I've got them, but at the end of the day, Ange knows more than me, and Ange, just like me and just like a lot of you out there, understands what football means to people, and it means so much more than having a flutter and betting on the odds. It's being part of something wonderful that lifts your life, elevates your existence. It's can be quite a spiritual thing. And if you approach it in that way, then you will be great. If you think I'm talking rubbish and it's none of those things, you're never going to be great. You're never going to have a great team. That's the way football works, man. Football works. Anyway, peace and love, man. Peace and love. And come on, you Spurs.